Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is your Monday night Plastic Crack podcast, season 6, episode 24. Tonight we're joined by the one and only Duncan Rhodes from
Hello, everybody.
His Painting Academy. Welcome, Duncan. Really pleased to have you on tonight. Hopefully,
thanks very much.
Sort out our painting fiascos and give us a few tips that help us all out. God knows I need them.
I'll just tell you to thin your paints.
That seems to be the answer everyone gives. Everybody is just thin your plates. But I'm sure there'll be. Well, I know we've already had quite a few questions for you, so we'll keep running way through the stream, picking up any of the comments that people have, and hopefully get to them as we go through. So, really pleased to have you here tonight. Looking forward to it. Welcome to everybody joining us tonight. Really pleased you can join us on this slightly moist Monday night here. Anyway, it's sort of clammy. It's weird.
Feels very muggy here.
Very muggy. Yeah. It's thank you to everyone watching on the catch up as well. We appreciate you all joining us, and a reminder that we are sponsored by our friends at Boards and Swords, and if you use the PCP5 code, you get an additional percentage off any of your orders if you go along and use their stuff. Oh, well done, Martin. Thank you.
There we go.
I found it. There we go.
You found it. Well done.
It's not hard to remember, but there we go.
We thought the code would change. It's the same code we've used for
it is
2 years
but
now, probably. But there you go. Means some of us can remember it.
I do recommend visiting Boards and Swords, by the way, if anyone's in Derby. I used to live just down the road from that shop. Like literally 2-minute walk from there, and I used to go over with my wife to buy magic cards.
Awesome
because we hold our little event there, so I say little, it's big for us, but we stay in the cricket ground travel lodge just on the other side. So we all wander that way, and then we wander down to the Indian, just down the road. So that's
and then if we're feeling really brave, we go into the night spots of Derby.
Oh God,
we won't talk about that now.
Yeah, those days that are long behind me.
They should be long behind us, but some reason we still think we can do it. Well, I'm talking about myself now, anyway.
I'm still traumatized.
No, I think I'm there. I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
Awesome, great stuff. Well, as I say, it's really good to have Duncan here. So I thought we'd sort of do a little bit of delve into Duncan's background, how he got into the hobby, and particularly how he's moved into being the sort of supremo on the painting front and turn that into a business, as it were. I'm also going to ask him a few questions that people have already loaded up, and then we'll just see where the evening takes us. I know Duncan's got to be away a little bit early, but that's absolutely fine. I'm sure we can pin him to the floor and find out how to paint skin tones and all the other good stuff that we need to know. So, Duncan, let's start at the beginning. I mean, how the heck did you get into this wonderful wargaming hobby? How did it all start for you?
Well, I suppose like anyone, it goes back a long way. By the way, I apologise. My dog's just down here, and he keeps putting his paw on my arm to get attention. So that's where I keep looking down. You're a good boy, aren't you? Yes.
Tell him there's a pigeon outside, and that'll get him excited.
No, I won't do that. He'll go berserk. Well, I mean, I've always been. I like making stuff. I've always been quite creative. I've always been into Lego and things like that. And one Christmas, my parents bought me some Airfix kits. And I really enjoyed doing the model making of them. I'd sit there with my dad building the model airplanes and stuff. You want to see the dog? All right, Spotty.
you had to do that, you see, and now everyone wants to see the dog. Up. So spot the dog. There he is. Oh, there he is. Just about. I was dropped out.
I'll try. I think he's confused. I know. I'll do it. Spotty. Come here. I'll try as I'm talking. I started building model airplanes and things, and so that just kind of, grew and became my hobby. And then one day I was in Ashby de la Zouch, and I bumped into a shop, a hobby shop, and my dad and I would always go into these model shops and things, and they, it'd be always interesting to see what kits and things they had there. But they had a Warhammer display on there, like a 40k display, and they had these little free takeaway pamphlets. And there was a Space Marine on it. Obviously, it was the second edition starter box cover that was on the front of this leaflet, and I was into Star Wars at the time, and I thought a Space Marine was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Right, half Darth Vader, half Stormtrooper, and so I ended up carrying this pamphlet around with me for the entire week. And my dad knew there was a Games Workshop in Derby on Saddlergate, so the next Saturday he took me in there, and I bought a box of Space Marines, and I've been to the hobby ever since to some degree or another.
That was the start of it all, the madness.
Yeah. I bought the Warriors of the Imperium box, so it's £5, and you got 6 Space Marines who are multi-part, sort of posable. And I loved them. They were great. My dad bought me a bottle of Chaos Black and Skull White and a fine detail brush. So I painted them entirely with a fine detail brush and made use of the Humbrol paints I had at home. So I used Humbrol yellow for the shoulder pads and made my own colour scheme that was based on the Stormtroopers. And yeah, I had a blast. It was great. And so every weekend I'd go in and have a look at stuff, and I'd save up pocket money. So when I could afford something, I'd go and buy some other things. So I managed to get a Rhino, some Khorne Berserkers, who I thought was being like the Imperial Royal Guard from Star Wars, because they were in red. I didn't really know any of the lore. I started learning a bit more about it, and one day got Codex Ultramarines and read that cover to cover. And it just drew me in. I've just been, like anybody. I went through that phase when I was about 16 or so, where you sort of drop out of it a little bit, and I was more doing my studies and things. But when I left, I got my A-level results, and I'd applied to do archaeology, and I got a place in Winchester, but I needed a summer job. So I'd happened to go and see Terminator 3 when I got my exam results, and that reminded me of the Necrons, and I'd not seen how they'd progressed because I liked the old, dorky looking metal ones. So I went in, and it blew me away how cool the Warriors looked. So I bought a box, and it was Chris Peach who served me at the till, and I asked about a summer job, and they were looking for a part-timer, and I got that job. And I'd not played properly in ages. I had a game against him, and they hired me based upon the attitude I had. I just was enjoying it, and I fit in really well with the team, and just kind of ended up getting more and more into the industry. I don't think my dad was very happy about it because he thought I was going to go and get a degree. And I mean,
you're going to get a proper job. Yeah,
I know, right? I don't know what I'd do with an architecture degree, to be honest with you. I'm hardly going to be in the.
I can answer that. I can answer that. You're doing better. I'm an archorologist, and you're doing. You made the right choice. You made the right choice.
I love history, right? And but I wanted to be more hands-on on it. So I had images of digging up. Ancient stuff and like Celtic things, and that really interested me. But yeah, I just don't. I suppose like a lot of people, you just end up following the path that appears in front of you. And ever since then, it's been a long run of, I think, being in the right place at the right time and taking calculated risks. But I've been very lucky to meet the people who I have met. So getting into the design studio. So I was in retail for 4 years, and then I left. And after I left, Peach stayed with Games Workshop. He got a job in the studio, and they were looking for another hobby team member, they call them, basically people who drive content for White Dwarf and stuff. And he told me, "Oh, you'd be pretty good at this." So I applied for it, and I managed to get it. I didn't do very well in the challenges they set on the day, but I did well in the interview, and that's what got me the shot there. And then for the TV thing, it was because out of the whole team, I didn't chew my fingernails. So when they just wanted some hands, painting on camera. So there was that factor. And also my schedule just happened to be a bit free. So I got seconded to the studio for a while, and that's where I met Roger Yates. And Roger and I got on a house on fire and had a very similar vision as to what we were trying to do. Because I found that I really liked helping people learn hobby skills. Because when I was a kid, I was really shy and introverted. And I was very scared about asking painting advice. And the 1 or 2 times I did it, I got very dismissive answers of what a stupid question, kid. Why are you bothering me with that? And it put me off asking things because I was so shy. And I really hated the thought of someone not being able to engage in the hobby because of an experience like that, or, putting them off. So I just really enjoyed trying to make it accessible. And I kept falling into the right spot to do that on bigger levels. So, Roger wanted to experiment more with this TV video painting tutorial system. And I really wanted to help teach people painting skills. And I'd worked through the development of the Citadel paint system, so I was understanding very intricately about how that worked. So it just became a very natural fit. And it just took off. So,
were you a good painter from day one? Or was it something you just really had to work at?
I really had to work at it, yeah. I mean, I've still got my first miniature,
Oh, you have? I was going to ask you that
yes.
because that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, he's still on our website. So when I went through that phase of dropping out the hobby, I sold all my stuff. But I was so emotionally attached to that first model because I had so much fun painting it that I couldn't bear to part with it. So I kept it, and it's a miracle, frankly, I still have it because it's such a great tool because I painted this model really badly. But over the years, like in retail, I painted another Space Marine in the same color schemes, like a staff challenge thing, and all the customers, all the kids came and voted as to their favorite. I painted one when I was in the studio. We did another one for a tutorial since leaving Games Workshop. So you can see the evolution of how I painted it. And we take it to shows, and like when there's kids starting out, and they're a bit nervous, they don't think they can do it. You show them what I've progressed like, and then it like gives them a real confidence boost. So that's great. So still, it's awesome. probably the most valuable model we've got in the entire studio. To be honest with you, that one figure. But I mostly, because of the these experiences and asking advice and just not doing it after that, I mostly worked things out by myself until I started working in retail, and then I just absorbed all this knowledge from the guys who were working there with me. So Chris Peach, Neil Cook, those guys especially really taught me a lot of skills. Then when I got into the studio, that's definitely a step up because you've got heavy metal right next to you, and the hobby team themselves are filled with all these amazing guys like Dave Andrews, for example, and Mark Jones. Incredible people, and they'll give you all the time you want if you ask them questions. So they taught me all sorts of things, and so I just kind of built on that over time up until the academy. But even with the painting at Games Workshop, there were things I had to go and ask the sculptors or the painters of the individual models to ask them, like, so what were you trying to do there? How did you paint that? And I'd take down notes of, say, for example, how heavy metal had painted it. And then I'd sort of work backwards through how you can replicate that kind of effect in simpler steps using the way the Citadel paints are designed to be used. So the end result isn't, of course, as good as an heavy metal one. But for average Joe, it looks great. You know, on a game table, it looks great. Like that's what the goal was, to make it accessible and achievable. So I find it awkward when people assume I was part of heavy metal, because I never was. That sort of painting is, I appreciate that they can do that, but my interest, I like to paint armies, you know. So I dabble with some of those skills every now and then, but I certainly don't think of myself as a competition painter.
No, interesting. I'm fascinated by the fact you still got the old figure, because it's something we talk about a lot, about some of our old old figures that we've. I did find some of mine, and they are frightening. They are absolutely horrible.
If anyone wants to see it, it is on our website. It's on I think it's on the front page or about us. It is on there, and you can see the progression of things. I think Spot wants to go outside the room now. Do you want to go out? I think you do, don't you? Should we have one last try to show people how cute you are? Come here. Spotty, up. Come on. All right, I'll grab him. Here we go. Come here. Here he is, everybody. There he is.
There he is.
My boy. Very handsome.
Yeah. You're my pride and joy, aren't you? All right, I'll put you down. There we go. I'll just let him out. There you go.
What was it Mr. Hicks just said? There we go.
Never
work with PCP and animals. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, he's not allowed in the studio because he destroyed the place. But Roger's dog Gizmo, little pug, he is allowed in the studio.
I thought you meant Paul Hicks for a minute.
I thought
you meant Paul Hicks.
I like Paul in the studio, whatever you do. For goodness sake, that's awesome. So, what point did you decide to sort of go it alone and set up the academy and start to sort of run your own show? And
so it's not just me, I suppose the thing to say. So I've been working with Roger for years and years at Games Workshop, and Warhammer community kind of came up, and TV got absorbed into it, and the whole nature of things changed. Oh, and Spot's back. There he is, looking out the window. And we kind of it grew, and it became its own thing. But you wanted to try doing new things every now and then, and we got to the point where we realised that. We had the possibility of realizing Roger's dream, because Roger had always wanted to have his own business. That's always been his thing that he's wanted to do. And because so Games Workshop runs this share save scheme. Essentially what you can do, I think you have to be employed for a certain amount of time to do it, but you can start contributing part of your wage into this savings account. And we had both been doing that. And the share prices from when we started doing TV, where Workshop wasn't doing very well, up to the point where our share save scheme matured, when it was doing very well, what you could then do is buy shares with the savings you'd acquired at the price that the share was at the time you started doing this. And then you could sell them at the value they were then. So the savings we acquired, we immediately bought shares and immediately sold them. So we suddenly had some savings. So we're like, all right, so we've got the capital to buy gear. We've got the knowledge. We've got the reputation. We've got the skills. Could we do this as our own thing, our own business? And so we ended up floating that question around for a while. And the decisive argument, because this was terrifying, right? We had no idea if it was going to work. And we knew there'd be no going back. The decisive thing was, if you don't try it, you'll always wonder. And that was also the same question that got me to do the TV thing in the first place. So we grit our teeth and both handed in our notice to go off and make our own business. So we are joint directors in it. We both have half and half ownership. Everything we do is our joint decisions between us. As the company's evolved, I've definitely found myself down in the trenches of doing the content all the time, and Roger is able to sort of give a bit of a higher view of the business. So the day-to-day running, Roger handles that. But it's meant as we started hiring people, we've been able to grow. So yeah, that's more or less how it happened. I mean, it was in Christmas 2019 is when we left. And we started in 2020. And we had a plan, like a 3-month plan, setting everything up where we were building the studio and getting our gear and testing it and learning the procedure, because it was all new equipment that we were having to use. So there's a lot of work there. And we knew we had to launch at a certain point. We knew to be able to pay ourselves, we had to get a certain amount of members. We knew we had enough savings to pay ourselves for a certain amount of time. So we had to do it in that time window. So there's a lot of pressure. And then as it came to launch day, the COVID lockdown happened. And we were like, oh, God, has this killed us? What do we do? So at that point, no one knew if they were going to be getting any money in or anything like that.
No.
Right? So it was very scary. So we just decided, well, we've come this far. We're going to have to keep on going. And it all worked out. It was fine. And as it turns out, during the COVID lockdowns, loads more people got into the hobby. So loads more people came into the hobby, which meant we got lots of people accessing our content. So it all worked out in the end. So, yeah, so it's gone very well.
I think wargaming hobby was one of the few industries that probably benefited very nicely out of the COVID situation in many ways. Not for all the horrible things that people had to go through with it, but
a lot of
hobby
people
grew like crazy.
A lot of people started looking around the attic for something to do. Oh, that's how you guys got together.
Yeah, that's how we started.
Yes.
Started with something to do to keep everyone together and get a bit of community spirit going. And we are 6 plus years on, and we're still annoying the hell out of people.
I already said community spirit. I was watching you, and you were slagging off something that I painted because you said it was too brutal. Because there was a British casualty on it.
It was a pile of bodies, Martin.
Too violent.
Pile of bodies. Get over it.
Martin said that technically, me and Martin are still guests.
You are.
Technically, we just never left. We're the worst house. We just never left.
I'll get rid of these two. Right then.
Well,
my goodness!
It has gone well ever since then. We have some.
What's the scale of the company now? How many people are there? And
So there are 5.5 of us. The half being Gizmo. So there's Roger and myself, of course. We've got Roger's wife. She joined us. So she is our secretary, essentially. So she handles all the admin and all the office supplies and all that sort of stuff. Then we hired Joe, who we used to work with at Games Workshop. So he's probably listening. So hi, Joe. So Joe came on as our social media guy. But Joe is a man of many, many skills. And he's done a lot of stuff at Games Workshop, and so it was phenomenal to have him join us because his knowledge has been great for us to make some strategic choices over the time since he joined us to be able to start growing a bit more. And in some ways, I think a bit of a kick up the arse to actually do some things. So Joe's contribution has been great. Because this year we started doing a painting competition called Circuits Painting Masters. We wanted our own cool thing that people felt they could join in with, and we were able to do it as the painting competition for UK Games Expo this year, which was incredible and something that Roger and I never thought we'd be doing when we started all of this. But it was so cool to see it on big banners and everything, and so many people coming along and taking part. We heard lots of people were saying it was the first time they entered a painting competition too, which is amazing because we're all about that accessibility, right? So that was really cool for people to have a go. So we've hired another guy, Jack, who is a young man who's joined us to take over editing duties. So that's what Roger used to do. So this is one of the things where, I mean, we probably took too long to do this, but having Jack doing the editing and the filming means that Roger's been able to step away from that and do a bit more strategic stuff. So he works with me quite closely in that he mans all the cameras and records everything and does all the sound and stuff, gets all the footage, edits it together, and then presents the finished package to be uploaded to our website or to YouTube. And he's really funny and has a very dry, very quick, sarcastic wit.
Excellent.
And
the best
there was a few weeks ago where it felt to me, it's like, yeah, he's part of the team, because we were discussing something. And I was like, oh, but I'm not sure we'll be able to finish that in time. And he was like, well, if you do your job. Like, oh, that's good. He felt confident enough to say that to me. He's one of us now. Yeah. So it's really fun. We have a really nice studio that was an old police station that we've got all set up in there. It's a really nice atmosphere. It's in this little village. And so it's just very nice in there. You know, everyone gets on. We have a good laugh. We get the work done. And it feels like we're at the edge of like a lot of opportunity at the moment. So I think we're going to grow a bit over the next year or two. And we've got some cool projects on the go. And Joe's always got ideas for things as well. So there's a couple of things that he's been working on. So yeah, I think it's all really exciting. Yeah.
So for those who kind of aren't familiar with the Academy, simply what are you trying to achieve with it, and maybe what are you thinking about in terms of where it's going to grow and where it's going in the future?
Well, what we want it to be is the best resource for painting, growing painting skills and accessibility that we can possibly make on the internet. So it's intended for anyone who wants to grow their skills, who might view some of the painting and wish they could do it better, or they could do something like they see a dream miniature that they think is really, really awesome. They wish they could paint it like that, because the model's expensive, right? And people want to achieve what they see on the box. For anyone who wants to meet like-minded people who are also going on that journey as well, they want to learn specific skills. It's all based around that, but it's all designed to be in as down-to-earth and accessible way as possible. So there's no there's no lies off camera. It's all very honest. In videos, we'll have mistakes happen on purpose on tricky bits, so we can show how to recover from them. And a lot of the website is case studies, essentially, on a particular miniature, where we'll take a thing, like, say, anything from a Napoleonic British rifleman all the way to the latest Cathay stuff for Warhammer, right? It's like the whole broad sweep of things. And we'll take one of those miniatures and paint it start to finish. And during the way, we'll be like, right, you could stop here if you want to. And if you paint your guys like this, it'll look great. But if you want to carry on, you can do this. And then we'll take a character from that same range and go a bit further with it and show a bit more what you could do. So it's meant to be all-encompassing to help people just build their skills a bit. For my mind, trying to be the resource I wish I had when I was a kid.
Right.
I guess. And we do lots of stuff around that. So, we obviously turn up at events and things. We've got the paints as well, which obviously use a lot. They fit in very much into our ethos of teaching skills. We have a gallery showing all the miniatures that we paint in detail, so you can see what parts we've done in what colours. We have a forum on there, and we've got Discord now. We run competitions on there, so challenges every month. There'll be a theme, so people can try doing something new. And we do giveaways as well. So every month, we'll just pick a member at random and give them something really cool. I'm sorry, Spot's barking at me to go out the door again. You want to go out? You're just going to walk back in. We all know you are. Go on, find your mother.
I said, your kids are.
Goodness me.
Sounds like you. I think your girls. Yeah, fantastic. So where's it going to head next then? I mean, it's obviously getting a lot of interest. A lot of people know you from the YouTube videos and all the, as you say, the competitions and other things that you're putting on. What's the future vision? Where do you want to take it? What's the 5-year plan, shall we say?
5-year plan.
Managery.
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, a lot of these things I can't really say. We've got some things that we want to keep under wraps for now, but we are doing stuff that I think will surprise people at the sort of the effort we're putting into it. We want to make sure we just provide more resources for people right on the website. So we've got a course on there, for example, that's like the fundamentals of miniature painting. So for a beginner, if you're fresh new to the hobby, you want to go over all the core basics that you need to know. That covers everything. And we want more courses like that. We think we can do some quite interesting subjects. what we find, though, is that we always run out of time to do the things that we want to do. So I think probably our next step is to try and get some people in to help us broaden our scope a bit. So perhaps something like that. How we're going to do that or how that looks at this point is something we're still discussing. But that's one aspect of it. We want to definitely have a good presence at shows as well. And this is certainly Joe's wheelhouse. This is the sort of thing that he's great at doing. So we thought the Games Expo last year was, earlier this year, was fantastic. So we're hoping to do more things like that. The other stuff, like I say, I've got to keep secret for now. but when we're ready to reveal stuff, we'll be very loud about it. So yeah, watch this space.
Watch this space. Sign up for the academy, and you'll find out.
Right.
Everybody.
Do your part. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I've got a number of questions that people have put on when I put the stream up. So we'll come to some of those, but a couple of questions from me to start with, quick fire ones, really. What's the biggest painting lesson you've learned in your journey?
Oh man, there's so many. I suppose. I mean, in terms for like a skill I've learned, or do you mean in terms of the general feel of the hobby?
Just in terms of feeling confident. You know, when you pick up that, we all have that daunting factor. You pick up a figure and you start to paint it, or you before you even start to paint it. What's the biggest sort of lesson you've learned about approach from there?
So much of it is in the mind, and a lot of people get put off by feeling that they can't do it when anyone can do it. Painting miniatures is not really rocket science. You know, there's like a certain set of core skills. If you can learn those, you can do anything. And also, you got to be careful not to find yourself being put off by looking at what people are doing on social media. You can very easily end up going down a rabbit hole of seeing these incredible miniatures because the algorithms tend to push those towards the top, and that can put you off. So you've got to not compare yourself to anybody else. You got to just compare yourself to what you were doing yesterday if you're looking to improve on things. But you also want to paint for yourself, which I very stubbornly do. So like I tend to be quite whimsical about the things I paint, which I think perhaps irritates my wife, who's much more committed to finishing a project. She paints too, by the way. I tend to leap all over the place based upon what takes my fancy at any one given moment. But I get it. Sometimes I am trying to paint something. I think to myself, I'm never going to finish this. But you have to just muscle through that. In some of our videos, when we're painting larger models, actually, it is a subject that comes up that I do discuss on things. Like, for example, we did the Sky Lantern recently. And at the start of painting that, we discussed, like, well, on a model like this, what I do is approach it with these things in mind. And I try and tackle this sort of thing first, because then you feel good about what you've done. And it's easier then to finish it. So, so there's a lot of that. A huge amount of it is basic confidence, and I certainly find it upsets me the thought that someone feels like they can't do it because they're embarrassed of what they might paint. You know, like I really want everyone to enjoy the painting of their miniatures and feel proud of what they do when they get on the table.
Yeah, we hear this from time to time in the community as well. It's just, you know, people are almost like daunted to put their pictures up. You know, we ask people to put their, you know, work in progress and things they've been working on the Facebook page. And sometimes people are almost a bit reticent because they see some of the phenomenal work that some of the team do. Amazing stuff. We always just say it's like a painted figure is better than an unpainted figure, full stop.
Absolutely.
So you just get going. And as you said, it's just practice, isn't it? We all get better with everything the more we do it.
Yeah, that's right. Some things take a long time as well. I mean, if I just reach down here, I did bring along something I thought might be of interest to the viewers of something that's been a long-term project of mine, and that is a Republican Roman army. And this is because I've got some friends who I do reenactment with, and one of them is terrible for getting me to start new projects that I never finish. But in my defense, he also never finishes them either. But he really wants to do ancients, and he really wants an excuse to do a Carthaginian army. And I had, I say sold, I more or less gave a Greek army. I gave to another one of the guys in this group. And so we were like, well, what conflict? And I think I could be interested in doing Romans. And he's like, you could do Romans and I could do Carthage. We could do something about that. And I'm like, right. So, all right, let's find a war. Our first Punic War, we could feasibly get these things together in there. Okay, all right, I'll start doing some Romans. So I started painting some Republican Romans. And it was for Hail Caesar, so and 28 millimeters. This means a lot of figures. So what I did was set myself small goals of just having small little groups of them, and I wouldn't force myself to do it if I wasn't in the mood. I just drop into them now and then and just add a bit more to the army and stuff. So I have so far beaten one
palette
division.
cleanser for you almost.
Exactly. And hang on, I got some down here. I'm just trying to pick them up without stabbing myself. Here we go. So this, I don't know how clear this is coming through, but this is just like a bunch of them I got built up that just are undercoated.
Oh, cool.
They've been this way for about 3 months. So I just got them built and I got distracted by something else. But you see, they're just, they're only part done. I've got other ones that I started base coating and then I got distracted. So I just moved on to something else. There's one with a pink done.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But I do have a few who are finished and I use them as a reference as to, this is what the army is going to look like. So this is one of the legionaries from that division. Oh, cool. So the other division's got like cream-colored tunics and red shields, whereas this one obviously yellow shields and red tunics. And my ultimate dream is to have 2 divisions of legionaries like this, with all the different ranks like Astarte and so on, and then to have 2 more divisions to be the Italian allies on either side. So that's the dream, and I know it's going to take a long time to do it. So I'm not breaking my will with it. I'm just doing it as and when. And I know that when I see them and I play a game, I'll get home excited about doing some more, so I can just do a few more. So my goal was to get enough to play a game, which I've done. Everything else from this point on is basically just like as and when, right? But yeah, it always looks like a mess. So I go through phases like that. It's the same for everybody.
I knew that was going to come up. The moment you mentioned Romans, I knew James was going to write. We had at our gaming day last year. We put on one of Caesar's battles. So we had 4v4, and everyone painted up a division, basically, of Romans. And so we had Pullo and Varenus and Caesar, all later Republican stuff. You like painting Romans, don't you, Dom?
Yeah, I don't. I love. Yeah, I love Roman history. I just can't. They're just so boring to paint.
Republican ones aren't. They're fine. You don't agree? I can see it.
No, I've got to get. Well, I've got to get my act together because I bought into that. Warlords did that sort of mystery box thing, and I went in for one. Even though I've got more than enough figures I ever need to know. Guess what popped into my post box the other day? Well, I didn't because it's a massive great box. An entire Roman army. So there you go.
There you go. It's on now. It's on. Is it their late Republican ones?
Do you know what? I haven't even looked properly. It is. I can't get it out the box because it got all wet. So.
Oh no!
Is it sat on the doorstep?
Guess the question is, have they got
it is Caesar's Legion starter army. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, associate lots of other things. There's Balearic slingers and various other things. Gallic cavalry.
You don't have to do them red.
You
can do them as like, I don't know, Pompey's ones, and do them with yellow shields or something different like that, or different patterns. Yeah, you maybe.
I'll blat into. I've got the Gauls to fight them.
You do. You have the Gauls. You have
massive
more than a few Gauls.
Massive Gauls.
Massive Gauls. Yeah, got some Germans as well. So, do you still game then, Duncan? Are you, or is it? Do you get much time for that, or do you even have the interest after you get home from a day of painting?
Oh yeah, I'm quite mad. When I get home, I do some painting. So my wife and I'll sit down and we'll do some painting together. It's just like a nice way to unwind. But I always paint something that's different from what I'm doing at work. Just try and keep things.
I was going to say unwind after a day of painting by doing more painting. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I just mix it up, and like I say, I don't force myself to do a thing if I don't want to do it. I'll just switch at any whim. So I do play games. I just don't get to do as many. This year's been quite difficult because we're going to be moving house, and you know what that's like, right? Yeah. So it's been hard to find the time in some cases. I was going to be meeting with a mate last weekend, but like all sorts of things went wrong, and it just didn't happen. What was the last game I played? I did play Warhammer Ancients. That was mid to late last year. That might have been the last full-on proper big game I played, actually. And that didn't go very well. So I was using my Republican Romans in that, and we were using Warhammer Ancients 2. If you guys are familiar with that, we're also blue book.
Yeah.
And so I might have misread some of the rules at one point, but a bunch of my legionaries charged some Greek hoplites. fighting with the Spartan player. So these were his perioikoi. And they fluffed their dice rolls, lost the combat, broke, ran, got cut down. The general was in that unit, which then caused a panic check across my army, of which I failed every single one. And my whole army just were like, we're off, and just legged it. So my teammate, who was there, like happily doing away his battle against so he was playing as Carthage, weirdly enough. This is very early Punic War, I suppose, before Punic War. He was against the other Greeks as well. And he's like, wait a minute, where's my right flank? I'm like, off the pub, mate. You're on your own. So yeah, Warhammer Ancients was a cruel mistress.
So you scrap that and now moving on to Hail Caesar and hoping for better dice.
Yeah. Well, the debate was, are we going to use the ultimate? The plan is to play a map-based campaign, and so I've made a map of Sicily, which I did put on social media. It's nearly finished. I do need to get around to completing it. Basically, when I know when I meet up with them, that's going to be the motivation to finish it.
Yeah.
But we've each got a starting point on there. So the Carthaginians are in Milibæum, the Greeks are in Syracuse, and I'm in the north, having just landed on the northern eastern tip. And so it's all like using the old Mighty Empire hex tiles. So it's all 3D, and I've done like the modeling of like the volcano, like Mount Vesuvius is there and everything. Is it Vesuvius? I can't think. Is it Etna?
Etna.
Anyway,
Etna,
yeah. So the plan is to make army tokens and move around and fight our battles there, because I've always found narrative campaign play is like the best way to enjoy wargaming, and the guys are well up for that. So the question was, are we going to play with Warhammer Ancients or Hail Caesar? I think it's probably going to be Hail Caesar because it's a bit more relaxed. But I think what I might end up doing is adding a bit more detail into certain parts of the game, as like some house rules and things, and also trying to figure out a good way of making the lines of Republican infantry rules work, with the replacement of units and things like that. I'm quite a dork for this sort of stuff. I'm sorry.
Take a look at the epic rules, because the epic have a very good system for the mana pool rules. It works pretty well, actually.
They do, don't they? Yeah. So I might be stealing some of that. So we'll see. But I want to have an in-between battles bit where you do get experience for your characters and I'll gain some rules. Or you might get some veteran units and things. And if they get destroyed, you lose them. So I think that would be really cool. Because I did that with Warhammer Fantasy a number of years ago. And I've always wanted to recreate a campaign like that. So that's
awesome.
the goal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. What about reenactment? Because I know you're big into that. And you're still doing that. And
I am.
What flavor do you? What type of reenactment is it?
Napoleonic. I am a French Fusilier.
Oh. Somebody has to be shot by
someone's got to be the baddies. It's a lot of fun. I went on the French side because I like their uniforms more than the British ones. Is that controversial?
Not to us two. This one up here, maybe.
Don't get me wrong. I know the British are the good guys, right? Apologies to French listeners, but
obviously, yeah.
But it's quite fun because it's a little bit pantomimish in the way everyone boos the guy playing Napoleon and stuff, So, but it's really fun hanging out with the guys there and camping with them and everything. So because of this move, it's been quite a long, drawn-out process, and as part of it, because I've got a musket for it, to have a musket, like a real one, you've got to have a shotgun license.
Yeah.
And the police take it very seriously. You're looking after it because they consider it a full-on real firearm, like, really dangerous and stuff. Now, bear in mind, I have no gunpowder or anything like that with it. It's basically a metal tube with some flint on it. Sorry, Becker City, I guess we can't be friends. In your defense, I always end up getting killed or running away in these battles.
Right? That's good to hear. Well, that's usual French behavior. So that's all good.
And if you're running away, you're full-on arms everywhere, throwing shako off and stuff, so it makes the crowd laugh. So yeah, even though it's like literally a metal tube with some flint on the end of it, you got to take it seriously, because if you have gunpowder, it is dangerous. So you have it in a gun cabinet, and during the move, the way it's been operating in the house I'm in now, there's been nowhere safe where I can fix the gun cabinet. So my friend's been looking after my musket for me. And after you use it, it gets really dirty and it takes quite a while to clean it. So usually what I do is take the day off work after an event just so I can take it apart, clean it properly, put it all back together, and then it's all ready for the next event. And I feel really bad him doing it for me. It's like, oh, thanks for the weekend. I know you didn't come along, but here's my musket as one of the guys.
Clean it for me.
Yes. Yeah. So once the move's done and I can have my cabinet back set up and everything again, I'll probably be going and doing it. But it's you can't be risque with the rules, so to speak, because the police take it very seriously, and you don't want it falling into the wrong hands or anything like that. But it is really cool shooting a musket. I'm not gonna lie. You don't shoot anything out of it, but it is awesome when you're in a firing line and you hear the order coming through and everything. It's like the first volley, and it's all in French and everything, obviously, but you learn what everything means. And so everyone's there, and everyone like raise their muskets, prepare. Then you get told to like aim and stuff, and so everyone steps into position to fire and everything like that. And you're waiting for the order, and the gun's really heavy, so your arm starts shaking as you're there holding it. And then you get, Zhu comes out, and everyone fires, and you get the full kind of explosion go off. It's really cool. Good. Weirdly, it's not as loud when you're in the firing line as it is outside the firing line.
I suppose the noise is coming projected out. So,
shot out away from you. Yeah, so then they're reloading and stuff. And every now and then it's cool because you get sent out skirmishing. So you get to like skirmish with some of the British rifles and things. And it's good fun. It is a bit like narrative role play in a way, like every now and then
great
you
fun.
Die. And when you go down, you got to go like, ah.
Yeah, and I think some of the camps and the weekends of battles can be quite entertaining in the evenings as well, can't they? From what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean that's not the. I enjoy the camaraderie of hanging out with the guys. That's. I'm mainly there because I'm interested in the history and I want to do the battle and stuff like that. But making loads of friends off it just kind of came off the side, so that's really nice as well. And these guys they're doing the ancients thing with. They're the ones who I met through that, So it's really cool that we get to hang out together. And we all end up standing around talking about these grand visions of games that we're going to do, whilst we're all there in our French gear and everything. I also I doing it for,
you're right, Joe.
It is Joe. I don't care what you think, Joe. Judge me all you want. That's the guy who works.
You're amongst friends and all like-minded geeks here, so don't worry.
I will say, if anyone's interested in doing it, so I put it off for years because I thought it'd be really difficult, really expensive. It's not as hard as you might think to get into it, and the way you get gear is you tend to acquire it over time because people start selling off things, and they'll tell you where you can buy these things from. So like my jacket, for example, it's called a Habby, the blue, white and red jacket. I got that because the unit I'm in was selling it as part of their depot kit, and it fit me perfectly, so they offered to sell it to me, so I just bought it from that. You just kind of acquire it over time. There's guys in the unit who make bits of equipment so everyone's uniform, and you can end up paying them to get a piece from them and stuff. So if anyone's interested, there are routes to doing it. I suppose if you pop
What's your regiment?
Sorry?
What's your regiment?
So I'm in two. I'm in the 45th and the 21st. Nice. But I know a chap in the 21st who's really good at getting people into it and getting stuff. So I got contacts, all right? So if anyone's interested, you can always pop us an email or something like that, and I can push you in the right direction.
Awesome. Do you happen to know anybody that's got a French drummer outfit? Anyway?
Yeah.
Because we know someone. One. I think he's a bit big. I can't see how do you...
You do
like the Jolly Green Giant in front of the drummer.
No, I don't. I think I might be a bit of a target if I was stood at the front with a drum.
No, you're at the back with a drum. I'll tell you what. When there's a drummer, it's way cooler because like they keep the pace of the march and everything like that. And there's certain drum rolls they do for particular things, like an order. So there's like a particular rhythm that goes off when you just like fire at will, and then when you get told to like load, there's a different one, and then they do a drum roll when it's like present and all this stuff. So yeah, having the drummer's really cool, and the drummer usually gets to run away at the end.
That sounds like my ideal job. Although Dom,
I've heard your name. I don't think we've met, but I know the name Nick Dawson.
There we go.
He's just down the road from me. He's just down the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
So far, I've been recommended as a grenadier and a sapper as well.
What was it? Was it ECW that someone tried to put you in? Was it as a pikeman that someone suggested that you should?
Yeah, they'd make.
Yeah, it was my mate's wedding. I'd had a few beers, and he came up to me, said, "Interested?" It was the sealed knot, and he said, "Are you interested in joining?" And I'd never met the dude before, and I was trying to be a bit humorous, and I said, "Weren't people a lot smaller back then?" And I'm not joking, he didn't take it well.
Actually, I think you'll find they.
And then he was explaining how we'd spend the weekend in tents, and I could bring my girlfriend along. And I said, "I'll give you £10 if you can convince my girlfriend to spend a weekend in a tent." Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening at all. So, no, I didn't join. My mate was in the sealed knot for a few years, though. He enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had some neighbours for a long time opposite me in previous house who were in the other lot, not the sealed knot. They had a split, and there was another group that did the ECW. I can't remember now. You'd come home when they'd had a weekend away, and they'd have a cannon on the driveway pointing at our house, and they tried to enlist me, and they said the same thing to me. Said, "Oh, you make a great pikeman."
Yeah, make a great pikeman.
Runs big and wide, and it's like. And I said, and then they proceeded to describe all the injuries you get as a pikeman. And I went, yeah, maybe not.
James has got me sussed.
Ooh.
I really want to be a lance connect for the cod.
Surely you want to do it more for the enormous, massive feather you might come out of a floppy hat.
Yes. He's all about the cod piece, Duncan.
All about the cod piece,
He's all about the cod piece. That's all he loves. Yeah, it's a bit of an in-joke. Steve, when he first arrived on our screens, only ever painted Second World War Germans, and then suddenly he started to go into a really wacky world, and one day did a whole load of Landsknechts.
That's what I'm painting tonight, Landsknecht.
Yeah, Landsknechts.
So, I mean, weird people. Right. Let's go on to some of the questions we had in, because there were some real crackers. So remember, if you've got any questions for Duncan, please put them in the chat and we'll get around to them later in the stream. A reminder again, thanks for everyone who's watching on the replay. Really appreciate it. If you can hit the like button, that'd be fantastic. And check out our channels if you haven't already done so. That would also be brilliant. Details are down in the description. So let's have a look at the. I've handily made a copy of them all, but then forgotten who they're from. Oh no, I have. There you go. Stop firing at will. What advice can you give me for painting flesh, predominantly face and hands? I'm new to the hobby and feel daunted by this. And as a noob, I need something simple to start me off.
I know exactly where you're coming from. I was intimidated by painting flesh. The first time I did it, it was on the old Imperial Guard Stormtroopers back in 2nd edition. Don't be intimidated, because it's not any different from painting anything else. It's still the same sort of detail, same techniques and motor control required. For any sort of skin tone, a good method that works is to start out with a colour that I would call the mid-tone, basically like the middle color of like your secrets of going light and dark, right? And just pick the one that you want to go for, and then get yourself another acrylic paint of one that's a little bit lighter, and then get a wash, either a brown or a sort of like chestnutty brown. Depending on the skin tone, it'll vary it. So if you're going for a darker skin tone, you'll want to go for a darker brown, so you got a bit of contrast on there. If you're going for something paler, then going more towards the sort of chestnutty color tends to work a little bit better. But all you do is just apply your base coat, flat, paint it all over the face and the hands and things. For the wash, you paint it straight over. You don't really need to dilute it. Depending on how pale you want it to be, you might want to dilute it, but it's not necessary. Then you return to your original color, reapply it. Just focus on avoiding the deepest corners. So on the face, for example, if you imagine like the T of sort of like the brow and the nose there, basically on your layering, you kind of go across the brow, down there like a T in the middle of the face, then a bit on the cheeks, down the side there, and then a line across top of the mouth, and then the chin. Usually the lower lip leave a little bit darker than the highlight that you follow up with. For the highlight, just do again that T, so down the nose, brow, a little bit on top of the cheeks, bit on the chin. That'll do you. For the hands, same process, but with the highlight, just go down the fingers and then follow the tendons back down, and that'll do. We do have a video. It's actually on YouTube and on our website. So if you want to check out a bit of what we do, just try searching for 3 ways to paint faces. And we have a video where we do one that's really simple. And it's great for starting out. Doesn't need many paints or anything, nice and easy. One that's a bit more intermediate comes after that. Then one that's a bit more advanced. And the advanced one, we paint in things like eyes and stuff like that. Which reminds me, when it comes to painting eyes are really difficult, and I mess it up all the time. And Joe is always on my back for it. And I know he's laughing right now. So the fact is, you don't have to paint them. For all my Romans, I don't. I only did it on the general. For what I'm painting now, these Cathayans, I decided I couldn't be bothered to do it. So what you do is just paint a dark brown line in the eye. So using something like Citadel's Rhinox Hide from our range, Tooth and Coats, going for Kuros Leather is very good. But you literally just do a darker line in the eye, and it just gives the impression they're in shadow. The trouble about painting eyes is that it's like if you're drawing an actual face of somebody. If you make a mistake on it, it really stands out. So there we are. He is laughing. So it's very easy to get the eyes looking in different directions, and it makes the model look weird, right? So,
so you're better on not doing them at all, unless you really know what you're doing.
Exactly, yeah. If you're not confident, just simply a dark line will give the impression the eyes are in shadow. That's all you need to do.
Awesome. Good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't be scared of it. Try it.
I have to bring up Paul's comment here. Old pikemen never die. They just smell that way. I'll take your word for it, Paul.
I've seen the push a pike at seal knot events. That's not for me. Thank you very much. I'm quite a slight individual. I think I'd actually get killed.
We've had some amusing evenings. Had one particular amusing evening with the Perrys in Nottingham one time, and they described some of the battles they got involved in, which was quite intimidating and fun. What else we got? Let me do another one, and then we'll have a little pause, give Duncan a chance to get some breath back before we launch into some more questions. Well, I'm going to ask you actually. So, a question I think which often comes up for us, and I'd love to know what you think as well, is what's the hardest color to paint?
Oh,
what's the one you dread the most?
Black power armor is what I dread the most. Is that surprising? So I find
I've never done black power armor, so I can't honestly comment.
So I mean, most colours I've learned the tricks of getting around things. Like even yellow, I don't find particularly difficult. If you approach it the right way, it's not so hard. And white as well. White's actually quite forgiving. But the reason why I say black for power armor and space marines and things like that ilk is because if you're going for pitch black, then mistakes show up really clearly. And if you over highlight things, then the model starts to look very strange and grey and weird. So I just find it, not that I can't do it, I just find it's very tedious to do it. And so if I can avoid it, I will. I find it's actually more forgiving to paint. If anyone out there is going to paint Space Marine in black, right? I find it actually easier to paint the power armor in an off black. I know officially the color is to go for a pitch black, but I find that's a bit more forgiving on the highlights. So that's what I dread doing. So it's like, we're going to be painting an Iron Hand Space Marine. Oh God! All right, let's see what we can do. Black clothing is fine, because you can do it with softer highlights and things there. So I'm all right with that. But that's what I always dread.
Just black. Okay, interesting.
Like, quite specifically in that.
What about you, Martin? What's yours?
What's my most hated color?
What color do you dread painting most?
Probably like the bright beige. So I do a lot of like padded armor. So beige isn't that, because I think you can get a really nice sort of basic I can't remember what the GW equivalent, but a buff color on there, and then you can get a really nice shade over it, so it shows that, and then you'll come to highlight it, and I usually just go back to the base coat, but after that I'm just stumped. I just add a bit of white in normally, and then just do some lines down the pad, down the gambesons, and things like that. But for the black, I discovered that AK paint. Is it just called black brown? And for my Dark Angels, for my Heresy Dark Angels, I just dry brushed that all over. I undercoated it black, I sprayed it black, dry brushed that all over it, and went, done. that was that. Slapped a load of mud and grime on it and just said, there we go. That's it. But you don't like, is it you? Steve doesn't like white, right? Is it white?
White. I've always said I can be having a painting session. It's a great success until I open the white paint. And it rapidly declines into tomfoolery.
What white do you use?
I use two. I don't like using white. I always use Vallejo off-white.
Good choice.
That's the white I always use, because I think working with like really stark white, I don't know whether I'm just traumatized from my time trying to paint Napoleonics.
Cross
belts, trousers, you name it. I ruined it. If it's just small amounts, I'm okay. But the thought of painting, 30 pairs of white trousers and cross straps, and it just gives me shakes. So I don't bother.
You're better off going for more like ivory or khaki or something like that. You might want to try getting so from our paint range. Griffin Claw and Ivory Tusk are very good for this. Citadel has Rackar Flesh is a good one.
Oh yes.
But what works quite well actually is to mix one of those deeper colours, so Griffin Claw or Rackar Flesh, something like that. It's much more of like a sort of canvassy sort of colour, like much more beige. But if you mix that with your off-white, you'll find it just gives it a bit more strength, and so you can get a better base coat on things, and then you can layer your off-white over the top, and it just helps step it up, and it makes it a little bit cleaner.
I've always struggled with the wash as well. I know some people use a blue, like a light blue. Some people use a black. I tried to use what's that contrast paint? Is it Apothecary White?
Apothecary White.
I tried to use that as well. I don't paint much white these days. In fact, I paint a lot of browns. Browns and greens and browns. Mud. Lots of mud.
The camouflage.
And just grimness. So it's been a while since I painted white, but I've got loads of stormtroopers that I want to paint, and to me that's my Waterloo. That amount of
painting Imperial stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Well, so we have just the colour for you. We've got a white called Trooper White, which may or may not have been specifically designed to help out with this sort of thing.
Brilliant.
So we do have a guide. So we've actually done 2 stormtroopers now. Think about it. One's on YouTube, one's on our website only. The second one, that one's like Imperial Remnant style, so more like how the stormtroopers look in The Mandalorian. They have more of an ivory kind of dirty kind of colour, but they're really easy to paint. As long as you approach them the right way, they're really, really easy.
Right.
What you do is you undercoat them with an off-white, you paint them Trooper White, and then you wash them with like a brown with a little bit of sepia in it, and you thin it with medium, so it really weakens it. It gives a very sort of like soft, shaded appearance on things. Once that's done, it's very quick just to layer it and clean things up, and then basically they look the part. And we highlight it, but we also weather it. And to be honest with you, you could just do the weathering as highlights. It's just if you use a dark warm brown, you just sort of chip it on the edges, and it just makes them just. They're really simple, man. Once you get into the rhythm, you can paint a squad an evening if you really want to. If you want to do a Star Wars Legion Stormtrooper army, man, you can do it in no time. Yeah.
Oh, cheers, man. That is brilliant. I shall definitely look into that, because that sounds right up my Death Star. It really does.
I shall be working on my Imperial Army any minute now. I'm same. I like you, Steve. White doesn't bother me particularly, though. I use that Vallejo off-white, and I don't find that particularly onerous. But then I've done an awful lot of white armies, so it sort of doesn't scare me particularly. But the one gets me. Judd's the same. He said yellow. Yellow. That's the one. I tried all sorts of different yellows. It's got scale 75 is the one I'm using at the moment, and that's not bad. But I do struggle, and I find it's just because I keep having to add new coats over the top, and it just never quite finishes how I want it to finish, for whatever reason. So that's the one I always struggle with as well.
Yeah, I find it helps to build up with like a mustard yellow first of all, then put your bright one over the top. But it's not as hard as it used to be. Yellow paints have got much better in more recent years. So it's quite a different experience these days from how it used to be.
How it used to be in the good old days. I think, ironically, yellow enamel paints were probably a lot easier, because I don't know, the pigmentation was so much much denser. I don't know, but so there you go. Crikey, lots of people agreeing. Steve, you've set everyone off on your what you're going to paint next. There you go. Let us have a little pause for a minute, because I'm conscious Duncan's been talking rather a lot. So we'll do a little breather for news, and then we'll come back and do a few more questions. So if you want to grab yourself a drink, Duncan, or whatever, and we'll be right back. Let me just run the horrible news clip. Just 1 second.
Why do we keep using that?
I
don't know, Martin, why we still use it.
That took me 35 seconds of my precious time.
I thought Ken did it.
I replaced Ken's. Ken's had that awful foreboding music.
Oh, the one that made you want to look around to see if someone was following you. Yes,
exactly.
The Crime Watch music. Yes,
the Crime Watch music.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I didn't see an awful lot of news this week, but did you, Martin?
I saw a few.
Couple of bits.
I saw a couple of things.
I think you've got the one I got, but you've got it about 3 times. So why don't you take it away? You start.
All right. So you're on about the new This one,
That's it.
the new. So this is the new starter for Flames of War from Battlefront. So this is their Fortress Europe. Now, I think their starter boxes are always great. I know a lot of people buy them and don't actually use them for Flames of War. They'll use them for O Group or Chain of Command or whatever, but they're always good value, aren't they? I know you bought out all of Ian's stock at Boards and Swords.
I did.
So in that one you're going to get 2 complete forces. So I think they've just essentially just retired the old one, which I think was a big draw. Wasn't that the one that had like the V2?
That was the hit the beach one. With Grenadiers and US Airborne.
So there's quite a bit of stuff in here, but also what's quite good about these, especially from the price point, they aren't overly expensive really when you compare them to other sort of box sets. I can't actually tell you how much this one was. Would have been really good if I'd. Oh, hang on, no, Dom's got it here. Look, there you go.
I got it the dollar price. So there you go.
That is ridiculously good, considering the quality that you get. Like I've said, when I was doing them for O Group, they for 15mm plastics, they're the best in the market.
They are awesome figures, aren't they?
Cannot
really,
get
really
any
good.
better, and they just go together so
well. So there's that. Keeping with World War II, our friends over at Grey for Now, he's released the Stiff Upper Lip set. So essentially, this lets you flip 0-200 hours, and this is where you'll be playing the Fallschirmjäger, taking on the British Guards.
Oh, sweet.
Run the other way. So I think quite a few people have been waiting a while for this. They've got some lovely miniatures in there. So this will give you the cards and the set, because the event deck is different to the Germans. Funnily enough, I was playing 0-200 the other day. I was the German Guards and got absolutely battered. So I know it's really nice. I especially like, because we talked about these before. We really like the miniatures sort of at ease, and I really like the one that's drinking the tea. I think that's fantastic. Really, really good. So that's on its way. And then the other thing that I saw, actually I saw 2 things, but I forgot to get some pictures, was the Wargames Atlantic Dark Age Army Builder box, which has 48 models in it, and you can build them as late Romans, Franks, Huns, Goths, just really sort of basic models. But they've done this before, where they release these army builder boxes. They did it for Napoleonics, where you could just smash out models really easily. So, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, 48. I mean, that would do. Got quite a few units in Midgard, Ducks, and a load of games. So there's a lot of that around. And the other thing I saw that I forgot to get any photos for was there's actually a 2nd edition of Star Wars Legion that's been announced. And yes, there were some more box sets, new start, new box sets, new army builders. There's a whole new way to sort of like build the armies. They've got multi-part models, so like there's like a pack which has like a Jedi general and the Jedi apprentice, and you can essentially build them how you want. I don't know what the price was. I completely forgot to get pictures because I was busy editing all week.
You had life and things to do.
Well, my wife went to Latitude and left me with the children for 4 days. So that was. Oh no, I think I got the better deal. She was watching Sting. So I definitely had the better deal.
Nothing wrong with Sting.
How can you like Sting but not like Morrissey? I mean, I don't like.
I grew up with the police.
That's what I saw, Dom. I'm going down this rabbit hole with
that music again, you two, and your hobby horses about bands. I won't mention all the bands I've watched in the last couple of weeks. Right,
no, we glossed over that bit.
Right, I saw the couple of things I saw. So talking about box sets, Warlords have re-released the Gentleman's War set for 3rd edition. So that's on pre-order at the moment. So, which again, I'm not sure it's quite the same value as that 15mm one, but still pretty good if you're into your bolt action.
Scenery plastic?
I believe it might be.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
There you go. So you get two little tanks and a whole load of infantry and the rule book and the dice and all the other good stuff. Yeah, pretty reasonable, I think. Those starter packs are always a good way to get going into the hobby, aren't they? Really, really good.
Yes.
Our friends, Martin and I's favourite 3D printing company, Parabellums. Parabellum have started an Wild West set of 3D printed buildings, which, if they're as good as the ones we've seen already for the sort of pretend Middle Earth ones, these will be amazing. So they're doing a range, as usual. They'll be in 15mm, 28mm, or 32mm, depending on how you want to play them. There's a whole range of Western buildings that they're put up for sale, which also extends onto the. They've also done a whole load of Normandy buildings as well. So they're churning them out at the moment. Really, really nice. So check those out if you're interested on the Parabellum site. And the other thing I saw was North Star showed off these new 28mm American War of Independence British cavalry, which I always like. North Star figures. They've got a chunkiness to them, and I like painting them.
Yes, this sounds so. They make my favourite muskets because they're proper chunky. They're not really spindly. They're really chunky, and I really like painting them, especially on the
all the bands on them are properly defined, so you can paint them. Even a Luddite like me with fat fingers can paint them. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, they're on their way. Andy was commenting about a new supplement, but I've not seen anything about this one. Have you covered a new for King and Parliament supplement, Rebels and Retribution War?
Hang on,
that's Warlord, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
This one
supplement
only means this one.
For the strongest. Okay.
Have I covered it yet? No. Am I going to be covering it? Yes. But I got a bit of a backlog. So this is the War of the Three Kingdoms. So this is all the major battles in Ireland from 1642 to 1649. It's filled with all of the loads and loads of history and lovely pictures from Simon Miller's collection, and lots of scenarios that you can. I mean, to be fair, if you're not using them to the strongest, you could use them for pike and shot or whatever. There's loads in here, absolutely loads. And of course, my favourite thing, it's spiral bound, which my favourite thing. So that this could just sit on the pattern like that when you put it on the table. So. There we go. But yes, this is out now, I believe. So, but yes, I've got a video coming up about that as well.
Apparently, James says those Warlord buildings are actually MDF. There you go.
They do look it. Yeah, they look quite straight, but nicely. They look good.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. I'm sure there are bits of other bits and bobs, but those are the things I saw. Martin saw. So, anything we've missed, shout out. Always interested. Yeah, I know there was a Warlord dragon, but I don't understand that, so I'm not going to do
dragon. Warlords have done a dragon.
Warlord have done dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
Right. Conscious we're heading towards the second half of the program, so let us get on with some of the other questions. Now, there was a cracking question which I wanted to get to, Duncan. Where's it gone now? Bear with me. Here we go. Oh no, not that one. Well, we can do that one anyway. But Jack, he says, have you thought about doing how to paint Soviet World War II minis? Asking as I need a good recipe. Kind regards and massive thanks for the Panzer Grenadier video.
You are welcome. And yes, we did. We did one years and years ago. In fact, I distinctly remember filming it shortly before Final Fantasy VII Remake came out because I really wanted to play it at the time. So I can just remember being excited about that and painting a Soviet soldier. Yes, it's on the Academy website. Yeah, we do one of the guys, and got like a great coat, but the color palette is like the same sort of thing. So that might
that will help you. Check that one out. This is one I wanted. Rodri says, I know as a painter with a tiny YouTube channel for painting tutorials, I'd be interested in knowing how you choose the minis to paint. Is it a case of paint what the audience watches or whatever you fancy that week, or is it business first approach or the art? I mean, how do you go about it?
Oh, it's a dark science.
Without giving away trade secrets, obviously.
Well, I mean, the core of it is what the Academy members want to see. So we invite people to send in requests for things, and as we get large amounts of requests, then we'll do that thing. This almost always involves what the new thing is from Games Workshop, but of course what other companies are coming out new at the time, that's what has the buzz. So that's what we tend to get requests for. So we try our best to vary what we're doing, but the nature of the fact that just some games are more popular than others pulls us in that particular direction. When it comes to YouTube, the YouTube environment has changed quite a bit over the last 5 years. So it's very hard to choose a subject these days because it's not necessarily what's new that's going to get the views on things. Now, for our business model, it doesn't really matter so much to be concerned about that because our audience are people who want to learn to paint stuff. So it's not necessarily about getting like 1 million views of people who just want to like casually watch a thing. Although that'd be great, right? It's more about providing the content for the people who are engaged about painting that thing. So yeah, it's difficult to start doing it now. So if you're looking for views on things, your best angle, if you're just generally trying to get people watching, is to look for something that's going to be of general interest. So it's going to be something that's in like the zeitgeist at the moment, and something that's just going to be like an interesting take on stuff. So, for example, if you're painting the box color scheme, there'll be a lot of people doing that. So you might want to go, here's a different color scheme. Here's one that appeals to me, or for this reason, or it's that sort of thing. Yeah, I hope that advice. There's no single magic bit of advice for making it big on YouTube, because if there was, then everyone would be doing that, right?
Yeah,
a lot of it is luck, being in the right place at the right time, and just working hard on it and building a good reputation for things. Much like Martin, who isn't aware of it, I'm sure, but I am a subscriber to his channel.
Thank you.
Yes, and I have listened to your videos whilst doing hobbying, particularly about pillage, learning a bit about that, because that's one of the games that he wants us to play. So I'm like, oh, what's this all about? So yeah, you've explained to me how the army building works in that, so thanks for that.
That's all right. I've got another one that's currently being filmed. Although I'm all of my stuff at the minute is because of where I live. There's been a lot of research into Hereward the Wake, because I have plans to do a couple of linked games, because I've got to go off on. But there's William the Conqueror put a witch in a tower and made her cast spells at the Isle of Ely, which also involved bearing her ass, apparently, according to the Chronicle. And so she mooned everybody on there. And Hereward came out and basically punched the tower down, according to this. I'm sure it told his base Helm Hammerhand on Hereward the Wake.
Sounds like it, yeah.
And then they just set fire to the entire Norman camp, which I thought just fitted with pillage perfectly. Then the Normans tried to cross the marsh on a pontoon bridge, and the Saxons essentially attacked them, and the Normans drowned in it. And then there was a bit of a 300 style. The monks showed the Normans how to get into the secret paths in the fence and the last stand. So I'm going to try and do like three linked games using Hereward the Wake. But I just need to find
that sounds really cool
in the tower. So that's my thing. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else worried about Martin's propensity to set fire to things in games?
I like to fight in pillage, according to what I've learned from Martin. So sounds like your jam.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, dear, brilliant. David asked a question. Now, David is a committed 6mm painter, and he says, do you only do 28mm, or do you paint the pinnacle of scale, mountain being 6mm? Do you ever do other scales? You might be biased there, just saying.
I've experimented with other scales. I find the smaller the model gets, the less enjoyment I get out of painting it, to be honest, because I like the detail of a 28mm figure.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my thing. I painted a whole bunch of Flames of War stuff, so I enjoy doing 15mm. Below that, what I've painted most of is the Perry travel battle stuff.
Yeah.
I painted a full set of that, and then I started buying the spruce separately and painting those for Commands and Colors. You know that board game? So I built a board for that with hexagonal tiles of MDF that all lock together on this board, this noticeboard thing I made, and I modelled terrain on them and things, so I can play that board game but in 3D. And I used the travel battle figures for the blocks of the infantry, so it's the Napoleonic version, in fact. So I've got a French and a British army to play those scenarios with that, and I think those are 6mm. I think roundabouts. They're for my own stuff. They're the biggest experience I've had doing that. I've tried doing War Master figures numerous times, but I just don't find that I get the same sort of joy out of them as I do 28mm. And everyone I know who plays tends to do 28mm, so I end up being drawn back towards doing that. So.
It's also somewhat harder to film, isn't it? I would imagine doing the smaller scales.
Yeah, I mean, we've done Mech Warrior stuff, and they're smaller scale. We've done some Flames of War, but we've done the tanks. For the infantry, we think there could be a video on techniques of painting small scale things. Although now I think about it, we did do Epic 40,000. So that was a retro video on the old one from like the late 90s. And we do talk about painting the figures on that. It's generally like brighter colours, looking for strong contrasts on things like that. So we do a bit of that. But yeah, at some point we might do like a Flames of War infantry thing and show a stand of those. So yeah.
Flames of War the detail on those is phenomenal for the scale.
I love
plastic ones are wonderful, aren't they? The hard plastic figures.
Really, really good.
Yeah. Always enjoy painting that scale.
Yeah. Judd's got the pillage bug. He said pillage is responsible for me purchasing a lot of cows, goats, pigs, duck minces. I never thought I would.
That sort of stuff is cool though, because that adds like lots more narrative to your games.
Yes,
yeah. I like battles like that. The more sort of competitive scene just doesn't appeal to me. It's all about hanging out with mates and telling a story for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. That's very much where I sit as well. Yeah.
Also, because I suck at competitive gaming, so.
You should play with Martin. You two are just made for each other, from what I can say. You suck at competitive gaming and all about narrative. There you go.
As soon as he works out I'm just a sucker for heroic, romantic, doomed cavalry chargers, then that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you should watch the latest battle report we did. That was the Robin can tell you all about
that. I'll check that one out.
Are there any figures that you get or you are encouraged to paint up or to do a video on or a session on that you just go, oh God, no, I just can't bring myself to do it? I mean, are there some periods, some types of figures, or just figures you can remember you just think, no, it's not working, not happening?
I take I suppose I would say professional pride in that it doesn't really matter what my opinion of the model is, because the video, the star of the video is the miniature that's being painted, and someone out there really likes that model and wants to have some guidance on painting it, and just some advice essentially, so they can enjoy their hobby more. So even if I hate the thing, it just doesn't matter. It's just grit my teeth and do it. And I mean, so back at Games Workshop, I've never been a fan of 40k orcs. I understand why people like them, but they're just not really my cup of tea. But it doesn't matter. If I'm painting an orc thing, I've still got to give it the same time and care and still, the same attention that it deserves. When it comes to historical things, I like organized, disciplined armies. So I'm into stuff like Romans and things, and I like heraldic colors. So medieval stuff, I like that kind of stuff. Really works for me. Doing more like barbaric art, like Gauls, for example, the Wild Horde thing, that's just not my thing. So we did paint a Gaulish warrior, and it was fun. I still enjoy painting the model. It was a nice model. But I know that for myself, I'll probably never paint an army of them. Maybe like a unit, as a mercenary unit, might be a laugh. But yeah. There are definitely some things that are tougher than others. I mean, as far as a shoot goes, doing big monsters is always quite stressed because we have quite a tight schedule of getting the thing done to be uploaded in time. So not typically for like a big monster, like a dragon or something, we'll have 3 days to do it. And usually by lunchtime Wednesday, I'm stressing a little bit of trying to get this thing finished in time. But when it came to doing the Sky Lantern for Cathay, we worked around that because it had all the crew inside it. So there was no way I was going to be able to do that in 3 days. So we actually shot that over 2 weeks, over much more time. And I was able to take things home to paint them off camera. Like the other crew don't appear in the video, I was able to do them off and stuff. So we found our way around it, really.
Interesting. I think that's the thing that, I mean, again, we've sort of talked about this from time to time on the stream, is when when the hobby becomes a job and sort of losing that passion for it. But it's interesting to hear that you just can, like a true trooper, you can bulldoze through it, even though, because I know sometimes I get figures and I'm just not in the mood. Just put them down, leave them for a bit and come back to them. But if you've got a business that relies on you getting a video talking about painting them, it's not so easy to do that.
Yeah, it does become different if it's your job. So it was the same back in the studio with the when I was with the hobby team, and also then with heavy metal. I know that they all the same thing. Like some days you're just not in the mood to paint, but that's what you're paid to do, right? So you got to do it. It doesn't really matter how you feel about it. And yeah, it's the same for the videos and things. I mean, but I'm very lucky to be in the position I'm in. So I don't want to like. I'm going to be throwing a strop like, no, I'm not doing it, or refuse or anything like that. It's we are reliant upon the content being made, so it has to be done. So yeah, I right from day one, like a real key thing that I always keep in my mind is, like I say, the miniature that we're painting is the star of the show, and it all has to be about that. And I firmly stick to that, and I invite anyone at any time if it ever goes to my head that actually it's all about me, then you can kick my ass. It's not. It's about the thing, it's about the team, and how all of us do our part for it all to come together.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Awesome. Let's get another question here, Lynn. Duncan, do you still play Magic? If so, do you play Commander? And if yes to that, what's your favorite?
It's funny. I was talking to Joe about playing Magic today. I haven't played it for quite some time. The last time I was really into it was when Theros was around, and I really loved that Greek theme that it has, this fantasy Greek theme. So I bought lots of Theros cards. My goal was to make a deck for every one of the gods, and I think I managed it for 10 of them out of, I think it's 15 gods in Theros, I think. Yeah, my favorite one was the white deck with Helios, the god of the sun, and I all my hoplites and stuff like that. And I made one for the god, I can't remember, Praxia or something. The god of it's green and black, and she's like has gorgons as the thing, and they all these effects that trigger off each other and stuff. That was fun. But yeah, I've not played it for quite a while. I did buy the Final Fantasy VII deck that came out a while ago. I've not actually opened it yet. Yeah, they do these like crossovers of different franchises now, and I'm a sucker for that game. So I wasn't going to. Like, I was like, I've not been playing it for ages and stuff. And then it turned up on my like my Facebook feed. Oh, this is on pre-order right now, and it comes out in a few weeks. And I was just like,
meant to be then, wasn't it?
Go on then. Yeah, and if I never open it, I can sell it one day. So we'll see. But yeah, I've not really had time to play it for quite a while. I tend to just spend all my time painting. I don't even get much time to play video games, to be honest with you.
Oh man, we had to stop playing Magic. Me and my wife Haley, we used to play it a lot, but it got a little bit too competitive. So so we stopped, and now and then see, I don't understand that. We used to play that, it got too competitive, and then somehow she agreed to play Black Powder, which I'm still not entirely sure. I was swung that one, but the competitive streak certainly came out. Something about getting beaten in Black Powder by my wife certainly isn't as galling as getting my black deck, which is designed to win the game in 10 turns, absolutely taken apart by a bunch of angels. Which that was my thing. Anything flying and what you talking about? Trample's the thing where it did damage went through, wasn't it? Yeah.
The green things.
Oh yeah, my green deck was just full of mammoths and awfulness that would just trample. But
we wouldn't be friends if we played, Steve. I used to get so angry.
My main deck that I used a lot of was probably red. So mountains. I used to have tons and tons of goblin cards.
Oh yeah.
But I used to play against my brother, and he either played white or black, and his black deck was horrific. I just hated playing against it because it had the abilities that ruin my evening in about 10 minutes. So that's why
we'll have to play, Steve. We'll have to do it. We'll have to do it when we go to Derby this year. I'll bring my black deck is filled with flying 1/1 creatures with haste. So as soon as they come out, they just keep
haste.
Playing. They just come. No. Dom's sitting there going, I have no idea what they're talking about.
My wife actually had some Magic cards when she was little, and she asked me if I could show her how to play. So we did, and she really liked it. She started collecting decks, and she'd do thematic decks, where she'd pick one of the characters from the story and build a deck around that. And she got really, really into it. So we played a bunch of games. What we used to do is I'd have my friends over, and we all play like a big multiplayer game. Sometimes Commander, sometimes the normal 60-card format. But there was always a bit of a polite agreement that you wouldn't just gang up and obliterate somebody. Everyone gets their chance to get their cards out and get like their cool thing, and everyone's like, "Ooh, it's like the new thing. Like no one's seen that before. What does that do? Oh no, it does that thing." So we had like a bit of a laugh with that. And then when someone gets to the point where they realise, everyone's like, "Wait a minute, they're a bit powerful." Then everyone turns on them, and it brings them down to size up until they're crippled, at which point they get left alone, and then the game carries on. We sometimes have games that will go on for like 2 hours like this. But really what it was just an excuse to sit around and just, hang out with each other and just eat some crisps. And you get the cards out like, ooh, what's this one? Except for when my mate Andy turned up with a blue milling deck, at which point we all just went like, right, you're out. Get in the corner.
Awesome. I won't pretend I understood a word of what you've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. I have absolutely no idea, but that's fine. All good. As long as you're having fun. No, I see all the card stuff, and before my time, so I don't really understand it. It looks interesting.
I actually bought my first Magic deck in 1994. That's how old my cards are. 94
with the old artwork. Nice.
Oh god, yes.
I know whenever we do go to Boards and Swords, it's just there's just hordes of people just buying those cards. It's just I don't know. I just stick to my plastic and my metal. Questions. In fact, a series of questions here from Kurt. What's your favourite thing to paint? Your favourite biscuit? And any particular paint manufacturer?
I feel like I can't really answer the third one.
My
favourite thing to paint,
excluding your own perfect range of paints. If that didn't exist, which would you go for instead?
The favourite thing to paint is going to vary depending on like the alignment of the planets and what mood I'm in. At the moment, I'm really enjoying painting some of the Cathay miniatures from Workshop, which I didn't expect because we just got them in to do a painting video on them, and I did a test model, and I really enjoyed it. And I found myself painting another one, and before long, I'm on the way to doing an army. So I have I've been building some whilst chatting to you chaps. I've got a unit of dudes on a movement tray just there that I finished over the weekend, and I've started painting a champion to lead them. I really like my Romans. I love Bretonnians from Warhammer, and I really enjoy doing my Napoleonics. I've got a French army for that, and I've got a Russian army as well. I do all sorts of stuff. Quite like the heresy. I like the word bearers and Horus Heresy. I don't think I was familiar with that, but I like them for being really evil because I normally play as the good guys, right? So they're proper bad. So I get to be like the proper mustache twirling villain. I really like the Elder Scrolls figures from Modiphius. I've not done any for a while, actually. Now I think about it, but I enjoy painting those ones. I have very broad tastes. As favourite biscuit, that'd be custard creams. That came out of left field, didn't it? And as for paints, I have to say the Tooth and Coats ones, obviously, because we worked so hard on them. But we worked with Transatlantic Games with those, who are the ones who wanted to make a paint range and have our branding on it, and we were like, sure, but we want to approve everything and be really involved in it. And the guys at Tag basically bit our hand off at that, and so we have a very close working relationship on it. Every one of those colors we mixed, and we've had lots of feedback on them. Like we're going with some of the guys at Tag and amongst ourselves in the studio too. And every one of them, I'd have to approve how it like behaves. There's more to it than just the color. Right?
How long did it take you to do that? I mean,
months. The first wave was quite a long development procedure, but once we had the base established, it was quite easy then to expand. And wave 2, we more or less knew what we wanted when wave 1 was done, because originally they were sort of merged together. Wave 3 was much more like a interesting and choosing what sort of colors we thought would be fun to add. But once that base is established, it sometimes changes based upon the sort of combination of pigment and things that goes into the paint. So there can be all sorts of weird, quirky effects that happen. So I'd use them, give the feedback to the chemists, who then do some sort of magic with it, and then there'd be another trial, and we'd try that. So sometimes there's quite a lot of rounds. Like with the dark arts ones recently, there was a lot of rounds of some of those paints to get them just so. But yeah, worked really hard on them, and I think it shows.
Excellent. Yeah, it's I'm fascinated by how paints are, the different recipes, if you like, and how they come together and the different way they're done. Because before you sort of get into the whole proper painting bit, you just imagine a paint's a paint to paint, and it certainly isn't.
But they're totally different. No, it's a very intense combination of all the chemicals that go into it, because the pigment loads are all different based upon what the color's going to be, and it can have odd effects on the combinations and the ratios of everything else. And you'll find there's lots of chemicals in there that are put in specifically to counter a negative effect of another chemical. So for example, the chemist explained this to me in English words, but I didn't understand the words in the audio presented to me. They're talking like weird science, but what I did gather from it is that, for example, if you're having a water-based paint, you have to break the surface tension of the water. Now, the chemical that does that tends to cause foaming. So you've got to have something else in there that stops the foaming happening. Now, this can have the side effect that it smells. So you've got to put something in there that stops the smell happening. And this turns out to be like an extraordinary long list of things that are all fighting with the actual paint
all affect
itself.
the properties and the end result and everything else. Yeah.
Exactly. So there can be all sorts of bizarre side effects on things that you wouldn't expect. And it's why traditionally some colors have been more difficult than others, like yellows, for example. Orange is still like a thing that chemists struggle with, of getting that just right. And I don't know why, because they've nailed red and not yellow, so I couldn't explain it to you, but that is like the final frontier, I guess.
Funny. Yeah. How funny. Interesting. It's a whole dark art. I'm conscious we're up against our time for how long you've given us tonight.
Yes, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to dash in just a moment.
Let me give you one final question, because I'm interested in this myself. So this is from Nick, just posted up. How much care do you take with your brushes? And do you, like me, dip them in water and then suck them dry?
Do you mean, do I lick my paintbrush? I try not to. I try not to, because I know what goes into the paint.
You now know, exactly.
Now you know,
Whilst it's not toxic, you don't want to be doing it if you can help it, especially with metallics. So I do look after my brushes as best I can. But they get a lot of use, so eventually I do replace them. It is a case that the more you pay, there's like a sweet spot, right, where you can get some good ones for a good amount, but getting really expensive ones, if you look after them, definitely do show. So if someone's never tried using a sable hairbrush, I do recommend it. So in the videos, we tend to use ones from Artis Opus, which are sable hair ones. It's not because we've got any sort of deal with them or anything like that. I've just found them to be reliable when buying them. So we try to avoid having deals with companies. We just use the stuff if we like it, and we find that's a bit more authentic. So you do get what you pay for.
Awesome. Well, listen, I hugely appreciate coming on tonight, Duncan. Great to have you on. I found it very interesting. Not the stuff about magic. I've no idea what that is, but that's absolutely fine.
Well, it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed chatting to you chaps. It's been nice. And what's been interesting for me is that there's been a lot of talk about historical stuff on here, whereas usually it's about Warhammer. So it's like an interesting step into that.
We do have a mixed audience, but I think there's probably predominantly historicals. Mostly. There's still a few weirdos out there as well. But lots of comments that we'll have to try and get you along to CrackCon in October if you're not far from Derby. It'd be great if you can come along and join us. That'd be really awesome. But thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we can get you back on another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just pop us an email and we can organise it. That'll be a good laugh. Perhaps I can show you how much further I might have got with my Romans.
We'll see where the Romans are next. Yeah.
I could bring and show off the painted division.
There we go.
There is one, I swear.
I'll race you because I hate painting Romans. So we'll see. Awesome. Reminder, if you want to check out Duncan, I'm sure everyone knows Duncan stuff, but if you check out Duncan Rhodes Painting Studio, Painting Academy, check that out, and all the details are on there. And of course, the YouTube channel as well, where you can get lots of advice and help.
That's right. We're on YouTube, and if you want to find us on the internet, we're at duncanrhodes.com. That's an address I'll never get used to. But yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks for the questions, chat. I hope you're all having a lovely evening. And yeah, I'll no doubt see you all again.
All right, brilliant. Thanks for
coming. Duncan. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right. There we go. You're not Duncan. There you go. There we go.
I'm
Right.
definitely not. No.
That was awesome. That's good to hear his thoughts and feedback on stuff. I think it's
Yeah. No, I have it.
and I love the idea. What I love about what he does is that whole concept of just making it easy for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think it's no, it's just nice to go. Although I do take his point about now he knows what goes in the paint. That he does. It's be kind of like when I worked in Tesco's in the cafe. That once I knew what they did to the food, I didn't want to eat it. This was 20 years ago. I hasten to add. I'm sure it's better now.
Anybody else slightly nervous about licking their brushes anymore?
I can't. Yeah. It's something I've done for 30 years, and I just don't think I can stop doing it. It's just a.
And he's not done him any harm. I mean, just look how he's sitting there now with that thing on.
Yeah, look at him.
Like he's not done him no harm, has it?
No.
It's
that's why he's so big.
I'll show you my third nipple at CrackCon.
Oh, yeah, Nick says he's making a doctor's appointment now. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's an influx. It'll be on the news. There has been an outbreak in this whatever chemical it is that stops it smelling. There's been an outbreak of this across the country.
The thing is, though, everyone's
predominantly between 40 and 60.
Everyone's eating paint. Let's be honest. Everyone's eating paint. You can't be in this hobby without, at one moment of time, having eaten paint. It just happens. It's just one of those things.
I've eaten flock. So by accident. Do you remember I'd used the we were doing the stream, I think it was, and I was using the flock shaker and it was coffee.
Yeah. I've done that.
I had a foam moustache but with flock sticking out of it.
You probably look like Moss Man from He-Man.
I was my paint. I don't know what that. I think Robin's on the drink. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know.
He's obviously been using the wrong terps to watch.
Right, chaps. We usually do the sort of what we've been working on earlier in the show, but obviously since Duncan couldn't manage the whole stream tonight, we thought we'd reverse it. So should we go back and have a look at what you lot have been up to? As I've done diddly squat because I've been away. So
okay,
what have you been up to, chaps?
I played a game of Pillage, and it's a 10-turn game, and I got beaten. I got beaten by turn 4, but we carried on playing till turn 6. So that was just me teaching a mate. I played like the dice were not with me. The dice sort of stayed with me. So our big thing we were talking about on the last stream was us preparing for our refight at the Battle of Edgecombe, which we did last week, the day after stream, and it was great fun. It was brilliant. So there's the battlefield right at the beginning, after the sort of like the divisions.
Probably not quite right with those fields.
That doesn't look right.
No,
it really doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Not
right. It's such tips. Wait till Steve puts up his one. So it was really good. I mean, we played the Warlord scenario. So it's only on a 6x4. I was going to put the large board out, but in the end, I thought this was gonna promote chaos a bit more, and which actually worked really well. So that was really good. So that was my divisions are on the ones crossing the stream. And then there's Robin's up on the hill, and then it really did kick off. So this was in game. This is like we haven't that's the middle game. So you've got William Herbert in there with those flags that I spent ages like if I'm sitting there painting the flags, then they're gonna be in a bloody photo. So it was brilliant. It was a real to and fro, and you really got an appreciation for a lot of the situations that appeared. And I get this is what we want with a refight, right? It was the same tactical situations on the day. Robin has no archers. His question is, do you stay on the hill and defend it, or do you descend and engage? Because I'm going to sit there peppering him with arrows. I think to begin with, I won't ruin it because it's only been out a day, the battle report. I think what was the archers won't do that much, and then I rolled with the 6 dice and I got 6 hits. I'm like, oh, hello. So all of a sudden,
you got 6 hits. What's going on?
I'll let you watch. I'll let you watch the report. But it's a real back and forth. And what I will say, what we're really, I guess it's partly the scenario, partly tactics, and obviously partly just happy circumstance. The way it ebb and flow mimics the actual battle. Because there's moments in that battle where you're sure that one side has it, and then something will happen and it changes and it swaps. So we had a great time, but I spent most of my, because I wanted to get the battle report out as close to the anniversary of the battle, which was the 24th, out. So I scanned. Thank you. Yes, it was. We were pleased with the setup. It was just really good. I didn't know. Oh no, I don't know. I need like a French unit that's the equivalent, because Robin had no bows. So he did. I mean, the great thing was his turns were really quick. He had no shooting.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no cannon. They'd just been pulling the cannonballs down the slope. That was great fun. But unfortunately, it has whetted my appetite to do bigger, more Wars of the Roses, and I do want to do more. There's something. Obviously, we've got St Albans for CrackCon. And if you're in the St Albans game, you're going to be getting a message from me, because I'm going to be setting up a WhatsApp group to discuss things, or a Facebook group, Messenger. So you get a request from me. Don't ignore it. Well, you can ignore it, but don't.
Don't ignore it, because if you ignore it, he will hammer you with something.
Can I just say, I'm sticking together these Wargames Atlantic knights. They're lovely. The mounted ones.
Yeah. They're
lovely. And I know some people moaned about this, but the rains, they're awesome. Like, I don't understand what the issue is. I think they're great. Like, these are fantastic. The war horses are actually big compared to the people. Like, they're actually the size of the horse. I'm really impressed.
I was doing some of those Conquistador ones while I was away, putting them, and they're the same. They're proper chunky horses, as they should be, and they go together so well, just so well. Love it.
They're really nice, really nice. So so that's what I've been doing, is playing a game and then editing it. That was basically my week.
That's a perfectly reasonable way to spend a week, if you ask me. Sounds fantastic. What about you, Steve? You've been up to weird. I know you have.
Weird stuff, right? So I finished the last. I wanted to build 3 Doom companies for 1490 Doom. So I finished them.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
You've got an assassin, a scavenger, and a fighter. The amount of
guy on the right, he is awesome.
The amount of bits and pieces I used for these was just ridiculous. Bits of Perry's as well. And so there's the entire lot. So that's 9 figures, three Doom companies sorted. I only have to paint. I've got to thank you. I've got to kit bash one more, because I've tried to build one of every character class, and all I'm missing is a saboteur. So I've built fighters, brutes, scouts, assassins, war priest. So just need to build a saboteur. But I had my copy of Burrows and Badgers 2nd edition delivered last week. So I went into the stash and I painted this guy.
Yes.
I
really like that blue. That is awesome, Steve.
Oh, cheers. That's
a lovely.
He was great fun. Again, bigger model took me 2 sessions. Normally I can sit down and paint a Burrows and Badgers miniature in 1 session, because they're just that enjoyable. But that was over 2 nights, and again, just phenomenally good to paint. Just an awesome sculpt. So I took the opportunity to photograph everything I've painted for Burrows and Badgers so far, and there we go.
Oh, lovely.
I love the bulldog in the background. Can't be done. Everything on there is beautiful, but lovely stuff.
That's the first time they've all been out at the same time, and I've got to be honest, they might be the best things I've ever painted. Just something I'm really proud of, because you've got ones in there that are really small looking ones, like the shrew and the mice, all the way up to the the bulldog and the badger. They're just phenomenal miniatures. They really are. And I put them on Blue Sky, and Michael from Oatsworn very kindly commented on them, so that made my weekend. But that's what I've been doing, a bit of weird stuff. I've also been painting scenery because my last piece finally showed up. Oh, cheers, Carl. Raw mail. Only took about a week for next day delivery. Cheers. So I'm going to be painting. So on these ones there, see the scenery at the back. That's what I'm going to be using, and that's just basically, it's just dry brushed with a shitload of weathering pigments thrown over it.
Nice.
I want to keep it as sort of. I want this to be the grimmest, most horrible game I play. In terms of aesthetics, I just want it to look. I want it to look depressing and miserable and just grim, because it's such a great game.
You got.
Cheers. Yeah, I did. I was going to respond to your comment. I saw it earlier, mate. It's brilliant. I'm not joking. The game, you can pick it up as an ebook. The rules. I got mine for, I think it was about. It was for $20, which is about £16-17, and then I whizzed it off to Docs Direct and had it spiral bound, because that should be the law that all rule books are spiral bound.
Yeah, agreed.
But when you've got 3 figures aside and you play it on a 2 foot, I'm actually getting a 2 foot round piece of MDF, because it's meant to be played in a round table. So because you bisect it into 4 quarters. So I'm gonna be getting that soon. But it's such a good game, and it might be one of the darkest games I've ever played. The lore is dark, the characters are dark, everything about the game is just dark. But on the desk for the rest of the week, I've got 2 bases of landscapes that I'm painting up. I've been working on an Escher Ganger from Necromunda as well. Lots and lots of bright colours. I've decided I'm going to paint everything that's currently on the painting pile before I start opening any new projects, because that way lies madness. So I want to get all these done. But yeah, it's been a productive week for me.
So, interesting question from Seriously Wargaming. Any tips on painting fur? A lot of my minis have capes, and also for horses and bears, etc. What's your? You've done a lot of furry creatures there.
Yeah, for burrows, and if it's actual fur, Google it. You may get some. Your internet search provider may be wondering why you're Googling animal fur.
Yeah, don't do it in a public place, for sure.
Public Wi-Fi now. No, seriously, that's the best tip I can give. If it's proper, authentic sort of animal fur patterns, just Google images, painting. I've actually got a search that said something about painting marmots. I mean, looking at fur patterns on marmots, the coolest creatures in the entire world. But pelts, I just do. So if I'm doing like a bear pelt, just very simple, normal paint, black or brown wash, and then highlights. That's even dry brush. You can get away with doing it really quickly with dry brushing.
I find contrast paints are your friend as well with fur. I find if you're not the greatest painter like I aren't, just using things, some of a gore grunter fur is one, and
I love that color.
It's just a beautiful reddy brown. So if you're doing a sort of, I guess a dog or a horse or something like that, it really works well, I think, on a very pale background. And as you say, so you can wash it and dry brush it slightly if you want to as well, and highlight it up that way. But that's my always go to. Any of the browns really, the contrast browns. How about you, Martin? What's your go to with painting?
So fur, well, I don't consider horses, like, even though horses have got a fur, it's so fine that you don't really, no one models texture on horses, do they? No one does, so for horses, what I tend to do is I use a contrast to base them. So gore grunter fur, wildwood, or Agros dunes, if you want like a nice sort of sandy beige. And then once that's on, I'll always wash it with like strong tone or something, and then I will mix a bit of the original contrast paint with a highlight color like buff for like a like a bay colored horse. The chestnut ones I tend to just use like any kind of orange brown, like a leather brown, and I just do very 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 light dry brushing and stippling. I stipple with horses to sort of get a sort of dapple effect. Black horses and white horses, I think, are the easiest because you just undercoat them black and then you just dry brush a bit of grey on, and then you can put on some socks and and white ones again. I just coat it white, slap on apothecary white, and then dry brush it with white. It's quite straightforward. I didn't. Is it your birthday today?
Oh, happy birthday! Sorry, mate. I just deleted it.
There we go. Well, happy birthday! There we go. I've got it.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
There you go. See, there you go. We knew it. Dom knew in advance it was going to be.
I did. So that's why I booked Duncan especially. So it was.
So yeah, that's all I do. I used to just my thing. I used to do a lot of dry brushing. And I still do. So I'm very interested in painting these horses. So I've obviously got the horsey curtains on them. So I haven't got to worry about that.
Jamie says if you use the side of your brush loaded with not too much paint, you can mass edge highlight fur and hair. Yeah, it's a good tip. Yeah, so that's almost like a dry brush. I
tend to use, if I'm doing a lot of like fur, I use a wedge brush rather than a fine point one. Again, bit of paint, take most of it off, and just run it down. I always find that was weirdly with those wedge brushes, with the wider, I have so much more control over them than there's some other brushes. I apply because I put a wash on these landscapes tonight, and I just used, I think it's like it's a size 1 wedge brush.
Oh wow!
Just to apply a wash, and it seems to work really well.
Yeah. That's cool. Very cool. Anyway, hope that helped you. I think, like you say, Steve, I must get all my badges and barriers figured out.
It was great. I'd never got. They've all been. They're in a tin box in the corner. Yeah. I keep them away so I don't have any accidents with them whatsoever. Yeah. But I've just got in. I couldn't believe how many I painted over the past 4 years. I'm actually going to start playing the game as well.
Wow!
I know. I played 2 or 3 solo games with the last one. But I really want to start playing it properly.
Nice. Well, for me, as I say, I was away up in Shropshire, so I didn't actually get any painting done at all this week. But I know Martin loves seeing a big, massive plastic models that I've made, so I made that.
Bloody hell!
There's about 24 cavalry in there, and 24 Asiguru. There you go. So 48 models made up.
The same era?
No, not at all. The Perry light cavalry that I've put arquebus arms on so that they can be Italian wars, and I've got some Italian looking heads on them. And then the Wargames Atlantic Conquistadors, which are beautiful models. Actually, I really like those. So the normal heavy cavalry, as opposed to the heavy cavalry. You see what I mean? Didn't realize they have different options in those that actually work quite well for Italian wars as well. So did 12 of those, and then because I'm sort of working on some samurai, I put together some Asiguru. So there you go.
I really want to pick up some of those conquistadors for Spanish allies for my Lansknets, because I think they were on the same side at Pavia. So that'd be nice, and they are lovely miniatures as well. But you never thought you'd hear me saying that 4 years ago, did you?
I nothing surprises me anymore, Steve. Nothing. Hang on, we got a couple of late arrivals. We just have to report these two. Look at this. Hobby Spot New Zealand. Morning, chaps. Hard to catch the pod without daylight saving, but made it. Hope all is well. I don't know. You're almost at the end, mate. You missed Duncan. You have to go and listen to the replay. And Valley Boy in New Zealand. Oops, slept late. Morning from a very wet Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. Good on you, mate. Nice to have you anyway. Thanks,
nice to have you here, chaps.
Right. Let us get on to. I've got some pictures. It's a shame. I was hoping Duncan would be around to have a look at some of these pictures, but just a critique, but we'll do it ourselves. So reminder that we love seeing everybody's work and games and progresses in the hobby and the Facebook page. If you're not a member, why not? There's a link down below. So click on that and answer the 3 questions, which are just there to stop the bots. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, people have been answering those questions recently. They're learning.
Good. I would have to come down a rod of iron on them otherwise. So let's have a look at some of the work. Just a reminder, this is just some of the highlights some of the bits that I thought I wanted to show off tonight. There's so much good stuff there, and it's just a pinprick of all the amazing stuff. Let's start with now. Normally, we associate our friend Warren with weird and wonderful, and this is relatively normal.
Oh,
like relatively normal.
Relatively normal. Yeah.
I mean, it's Weird War, but it's 15 mil.
Oh no, that's a different Warren.
Oh, is it different Warren?
Yes.
Oh, apologies.
Right.
Right.
That's other Warren.
That's other
It is
Warren.
our Warren. I'm sure it's our Warren.
No, it's a different one. So other
okay.
Warren.
Sorry,
this is definitely. This is definitely. I'm trying not to dox anybody. This is a different Warren.
Ah, okay. All right. Forget that then. Nothing to do with the weird stuff. He is just doing weird shit. So there you go. This is Conflict 47 even. He's doing it 15 mil.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a traditionalist. He started playing it when it was a 15 mil game back in the day. When it was 15 mil. So he's been flying. If you check the Facebook group out, he's been flying through these recently.
Apologies. I saw Warren, I saw Weird, and I thought I put the 2 together. There you go. So this is, I think he's calling these Green Horde. Because apparently that's what all the new ones are. Okay, let's have a look at Carl.
These are ace.
These are mantic zombies.
Kicking out time with the tiger bar.
Is all
very cool.
It does look like that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's frightening. I love the backdrop, and he's getting all jazzy with the photographs as well. Absolutely amazing stuff. Really good. James has been launching into some spaceships.
They're nice.
So I forget what the game system he was playing with this with, but
I think he's planning. So Casey Garsky that did Space Weirdos. See, I mentioned it. It's only been an hour and 57 minutes. He's got a spaceship game coming out early next year, published by Osprey. So a lot of people are putting together ships or digging out old models to play it, basically. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good game.
Nice. Yeah, they are not quite so weird. That's one, Andy. Yeah. What else? Don, I'm going to show off Don's buildings because I always
lovely
builds bits and bobs because I just think these are brilliant. Love them. Really, really nicely done, Don.
Yeah,
very clean. He said he was planning to get some tufts and what have you around them, but ran out of time for the game that he was running. But I think they look great anyway. That's really cool. Very nice. Talking about games, I had a game with GDA before I went away, and Ashley said this was his first outing for a long time. He's down in Australia, and he played a live game against live opponents rather than solo ones in Perth, Australia. Playing GDA, so that was his French army coming out to play, and looked absolutely fantastic. Loads of pictures of the game, but I just thought that showed his army to the full. Very nice indeed. What else we got here? Talking about games, Paul's Game of Easy Company, and what I loved, he's always got the sort of cinematic pictures up on the Facebook page. They were just like real flavour of the period. Fantastic.
Well, it looks lovely. It really does.
Doesn't it? And everyone loves a Stug, don't they?
Stug life.
Stug life. Leading the best. Over to you, chaps, on this one. Matthew's.
Nice.
Weird shit.
Oh, yes. No, yeah.
He's
been working on these for a while.
Yeah, he's nailed that colour. That turquoise is wonderful.
Fantastic. Yeah, amazing colour. Absolutely amazing colour. Not sure how I'd use that in historicals, but really good. Another extreme entirely. This is Nick and his 15mm Sumerian ancient army. Brilliant. Just love them. Apparently, I think he said they were 3D prints, I think, that he'd scaled down from 28s or something. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Love that kind of very different force. Really good. Talking about 3D prints, Sean did this stagecoach for his Western games, which is great. 3D printed again. Very nice.
Excellent.
Very good. For some reason, I picked out loads of weird shit tonight, so it was a bit more Philip.
Hey, look at that. Hey.
Something. I don't know what
That's
it is.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Just looks
That is
bizarre.
brilliant.
I feel like this next one from Pete needs some sort of trigger warning. So just if you're easily shocked, look away now because look at that.
Oh yeah, no, is that a Vargeist? I don't know why I'm asking.
Yes.
Actually, I think it's I really like. I've always really liked those models. I really like how he's got like the sort of sinewy, bloody hands.
Yeah,
I think that's just
like
really
that.
cool. Yeah,
that sort of resembles me before I had my first coffee in the morning.
Oh dear. What scale is the new space game?
I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be using old X-Wing ships, so round about that scale. I'm not quite sure what scale that would be.
Infinite scale.
I don't know, but it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. And finally, because this made me chuckle, Yusuf's.
wow, that's so cool. I missed that. That's so cool. That's awesome.
I've now got the frog chorus stuck in my head.
Yeah.
He's going to be using it for D&D.
No, don't. No. No.
Right, before we get Steve to meltdown, we are now at time, gentlemen. I really enjoyed tonight. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us, and thank you once again to Duncan for coming along.
Yes.
It was really good. As someone said in the chat, the nicest man in Wargaming. I think he probably is.
He really is.
He really is the nicest man. Even though he follows Martin and liked his stuff. I mean, you know.
And does French reenactment.
And does French reenactment, yeah, that's true. Thanks once again for everyone who joined us tonight. Really appreciate it. Next week, have we decided?
I'm on holiday. Yeah, I'm on holiday next week.
Ooh, so, are you? Are you allowed? Did you put a note into HR?
Well, she's coming with, so yes.
Oh, fair enough.
I will be in Derbyshire. I will be in Derbyshire. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. I think it's me, so I'll pop something up in the meantime.
Well, we'll have a chat. We'll put together the menu, and I'll get it posted up.
Yep.
In the group, and then we can sort of we'll see where we are.
Here we go. All right. Well, everyone have a fantastic week. Martin, have a brilliant holiday, and we will see. Well, two of us at least. We'll see you next week. And we'll be back on Steve's channel at 8:00 on Monday night. Have a really good week, everyone. Awesome. See you soon. Thanks for
everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.